The government shutdown in the country enters its 30th day. Now, the filibuster requires 60 votes in the Senate to pass most legislation, and the Republicans already hold a 53 to 47 majority. The US president says that the filibuster rule is blocking action to reopen the government. There is still no agreement in sight as Senate Republicans push for a temporary funding bill until late of November, while Democrats demand negotiations to renew federal health care tax credits. This government shutdown has kept much of the federal government closed since October the 1st, impacting around 750,000 workers. Some federal employees continue to work without pay, including law enforcement and immigration officers, while troops are receiving limited pay. Now, in a related development, US Vice President J.D. Vance has warned that a government shutdown lasting until Thanksgiving could bring major trouble for the airline industry. Vance recently joined airline executives and transportation officials in a roundtable discussion on the ongoing strain on air traffic control and regional security staffing. Over 63,000 air traffic controllers and TSA officers have been working without pay, leading to rising absences and air staff shortages nationwide. Moreover, hundreds of controllers have taken second jobs to cover bills, and airlines are donating food to support federal workers at airports. Okay, we're now joined by Matthew Verdum. He is an American journalist and he joins us live from Washington, D.C. Thank you very much, Matthew, for joining us here on NewsX World. It is a pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
Of course, let's first start with this filibuster. Donald Trump says, let's get rid of it now. Is this a serious strategy shift or a bluff to force Democrats to the table, do you think?
I suspect it's a bluff to force Democrats to the table because I don't think the Republican members of the Senate have any appetite for getting rid of the filibuster. The filibuster prevents certain important legislation from moving forward unless it receives at least 60 votes from the 100 senators, members of the United States Senate. And the filibuster prevents one party from taking total control, basically. And it's been useful many times in the past. And I think the fear among Republicans is that if they get rid of it this time, for convenience so that they can end the government shutdown, then this removing the filibuster as a tool will come back to haunt them, and Democrats will be able to pass important controversial legislation with less than 60 votes. So I think that most Republicans sense there's a danger there. I can understand why President Trump is upset, but it's hard to believe that it's hard to believe that he's being serious. I think it's just a tactic.
Yes, indeed. And of course, this shutdown has now entered its 30th day. How is this affecting public confidence on both Congress and the presidency?
I think that according to the articles about opinion polls that I've read, Republican lawmakers are being largely blamed for the shutdown, but President Trump's approval rating has been rising during the shutdown. So it's a mixed picture, a mixed bag. We're getting there. There is pressure, and I think that people are. I don't think that people are particularly upset because when the government shuts down, it's not really the whole government shutting down. It's only like, 20-25% of it. Museums, government-funded museums don't open, and government parks and things like that shut down. But now with the SNAP benefits, food stamps, or EBT as some people call them, which allow which is a government subsidy to poor people to buy food, now that the funding for these so-called SNAP benefits has run out, I think some people are going to probably become upset. And, as they find that they don't have the $100 or $200 or whatever it is per month available to them to buy food. So you're probably going to see some discomfort and some people being upset, and that will put added pressure on both Republicans and Democrats to come to the table and pass a funding resolution that would allow the federal government to reopen.
Okay, Matthew, do stay with us. We have some further updates coming in, and the FBI has said that it has thwarted a potential terrorist attack in Michigan, arresting multiple suspects accused of plotting a violent strike over the Halloween weekend. FBI Director Kash Patel confirmed the operation in a social media post, saying agents acted early on Friday to disrupt the planned assault. The arrests were made in Dearborn and Inkster, near Detroit, both. The FBI's Detroit field office later said there is no ongoing threat to public safety. Patel has thanked federal and local officers for what he called their 24/7 mission to defend the homeland, adding that more details will be shared once the investigation allows. Matthew, of course, America is no stranger to plots and, of course, foiling said plots. And when these huge celebrations like Halloween come around, of course, America celebrates Halloween in a huge fashion. How, of course, would you describe Kash Patel's handling of this situation, and what can we expect to hear from the FBI when it comes to these situations?
It appears that Kash Patel is handling this matter cautiously while the FBI investigates. There are reports that the foiled attack is tied to some sort of foreign extremism, but we don't know yet what kind of extremism that is because the government hasn't told us, hasn't released those details. Seeing that at least one of the arrests reportedly happened in Dearborn, Michigan, which is a largely Muslim community, it might lead one to speculate that it was some kind of a Muslim terrorist attack that was planned, although, that's just conjecture at this point. For all we know, it was an attack aimed at Muslims. So, even though, that doesn't seem to happen very often. It sounds to me like Kash Patel of the FBI is being very cautious, and I hope he releases more details soon so that we can know the extent of what was planned. Americans really do love Halloween. I don't know if you have Halloween, if it's celebrated in India, but basically little children put on costumes and they go from door to door asking for candy. And, it's a happy national
Yes.
observance, and people, people love Halloween, and people also, adults, go put on costumes and go to, Halloween costume parties. So it would be a real blow to the nation and to American sense of security if something as joyous and fun as Halloween were to be disrupted by terrorist bloodshed.
Yes, of course. Matthew Verdum, thank you very much for joining us there on those stories. We